Heartwarming girl offers incredible promise. Set my dad free, and I'll heal you. Witness the life-changing revelation that transformed a town. Lily's laughter echoed through the halls of the local diner as she spun in her favorite blue dress, sunlight streaming through the windows. Everyone knew her, the light of Maplewood, they called her. But behind those bright eyes rested a growing shadow. Her father, a proud military veteran, had been unjustly imprisoned, swallowed by a cruel twist of fate. With her mother battling a serious illness, each day felt heavier. One fateful afternoon, sitting in the sterile hospital waiting room, Lily clutched her mother's hand, warmth slipping through her fingers. She felt a tug of hope when she overheard doctors discussing a revolutionary treatment that could save her mother. In that moment of despair and belief, she rose to her feet, her heart racing. Set my dad free, and I'll heal you with the miracle medicine from my heart. The innocent declaration swept through the waiting area like wildfire, drawing tear-filled eyes and whispers of admiration. Around her, the faces of her friends and neighbors lit up as the promise ignited hope in their own hearts. It wasn't just Lily's fight anymore. It was a call to arms for a community known for its resilience. Soon, conversations buzzed around town about justice, economic inequality, and the strength that comes from unity. The diner became a hive of discussions and plans, potlucks and visits, as neighbors offered their hands, their food, and their hearts to help. But as much as the vulnerability in her heart swelled, reality struck desperately hard. There was no magical cure, no elixir bursting with healing power, only the love she held. As the trial loomed closer, tightness gripped Lily's chest and tears threatened her eyes at the thought of losing her dad and her mom in one fell swoop. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The courtroom was packed. Every face from Maplewood that had once gathered in laughter now wore a solemn expression. In that suffocating atmosphere, Lily stood before the gavel, small but fierce. Her heart swelled as she shared how her father had sacrificed so much for the country, how he taught her to be brave in the face of adversity. The weight of her promise hung thick in the air, trembling on the verge of impossibility. Emotion pierced through the room, and murmurs swept like a wind across the seated crowd. His sacrifice, her threading hope, it all surged in that moment. With tears flowing, Lily bared her soul, asking questions that echoed in every heart. What is justice? What does it mean to love? As the gavel loomed overhead, poised to drop, the audience held their breath. Would Lily's courage sway the tide? Would her community uncover the truth? Or would they face a future shattered by injustice? The light in Lily's eyes flickered against the shadows, leaving everyone longing for hope, wondering what would happen next. As the gavel fell, silence enveloped the courtroom, a heavy blanket of uncertainty hanging over everyone. Lily's heart raced. Her father looked at her with anguish mixed with pride. Time seemed to stretch, each moment demanding something more. What came next would chart the course of their lives. In the front row, Mrs. Thompson, an old neighbor, dabbed her eyes with a tissue, her face a tapestry of worry and hope. Nearby, Lily's best friend Mia squeezed her mother's hand tightly. The room held its breath as the judge, a stern man with a weary gaze, pondered the words spoken. Would he see the love in them, the fierce determination to change their fate? Your Honor, he began, I cannot ignore the impact this has had on the community. The judge's voice broke slightly, as if he felt the weight of each sentence. We are not lost to despair. We're driven by the desire for justice. His eyes scanned the crowd, and Lily sensed a flicker of hope igniting within the audience. However, he continued, the law is bound by evidence and belief alone cannot sway it. Lily's stomach sank. What did this mean? The injustice her father faced seemed dwarfed by the weight of the law. Would all her dreams, her prayers, shatter in an instant? The prosecutor, a sharp-tongued woman with a steel resolve, stood next. You may think of this as a tale of personal struggle, but it's a matter of the law. She gestured to the documents before her, Papers containing the allegations against Lily's father. We must adhere to the evidence, not just sentiment. In that cruel moment of reality, Lily blinked back tears. There was so much at stake. The whispers in the crowd turned into a murmur, a wave of emotion washing through everyone as they began to rally behind her. They still believed in her message, in her father's innocence. Just as darkness threatened to overtake the light, an unexpected voice emerged from the back of the courtroom. Wait. A tall figure stepped forward, brushing past the stunned spectators. It was Mr. Grant, a retired officer from Lily's father's unit. He had always been like an uncle to her. Your Honor, I have new evidence, Mr. Grant declared, his voice shaking but resolute. I can testify that there was a cover-up. I stand here today as the truth's guardian. Lily's heart thundered. Was this really happening? Hope ignited like wildfire again. The judge nodded, indicating Mr. Grant to take the stand. As he began to recount his experiences, the courtroom buzzed with energy. The truth swirled around them like a wind, promising change, rekindling courage. For a moment, Lily thought maybe, just maybe, they would prevail. But even as the cards began to shift in their favor, doubt still nestled in Lily's heart. Would this be enough? Could the truth really set them all free? The new evidence might be a turning point, yet uncertainty lingered. The townsfolk gathered closer, their faces painted with a mosaic of hope and fear. And one question echoed in the depths of Lily's mind. What could the truth evoke, and would it be enough to heal both her father and mother? As the gavel rose once more, the real battle was far from over. Would love and resolve triumph over the cruelty of fate? Would their community stand together until the final revelation? The air crackled with tension, and the journey ahead loomed like a shadow. In that moment of confrontation, everything hung in the balance. Lily took a deep breath, prepared for whatever might unfold next. Would her promise hold? Or was the town's reckoning still waiting just beyond the horizon? The courtroom was electric with anticipation. Lily could hardly breathe as Mr. Grant took the witness stand. All eyes turned toward him, and she felt the weight of their hope. Was he really going to change everything? Could a single voice of truth pierce through the layers of doubt? Tell us what you know, Mr. Grant, the judge prompted, his tone firm yet encouraging. Mr. Grant took a deep breath, steadying himself. I was there the day it all happened. I was there for each detail that was swept under the rug. I saw things the way they really were. As he recounted the events surrounding her father's case, Lily leaned forward, hanging on to every word. Her heart raced with a mix of dread and hope. Each revelation painted a clearer picture. One where her father was not the villain, but a victim of circumstances beyond his control. The evidence was manipulated, Mr. Grant continued, his voice gaining strength, to protect some people's reputations. I've kept quiet for too long, but today I'm here to tell the truth. A faint flash of hope flickered within Lily. What if Mr. Grant's testimony would be enough? Would the judge listen? She glanced toward her father, who sat stoic but seemed to pulse with a sense of renewed vigor. Yet, the prosecutor wasn't he ready to back down. Mr. Grant, your claims are serious. How do we know you are not simply trying to protect a friend? A silence fell over the courtroom. Lily felt every eye on her, the weight of expectation heavy on her young shoulders. She clenched her fists, willing herself to be strong. This was the moment they'd been waiting for. She had to believe in Mr. Grant, in the truth, and in her father's innocence. I have proof, Mr. Grant added, retrieving documents from a folder on the stand. Emails, records things that show exactly what happened. I can show that there was a directive to silence certain witnesses, even suppress evidence that could exonerate him. A gasp rippled through the spectators. This was it. The silence became palpable as everyone leaned in. Lily could hardly contain her excitement. Her heart soared, but doubt still whispered in the back of her mind. What if it wasn't he enough? Your Honor, the prosecutor said, regaining her composure, anything can be fabricated. Where's the assurance that this evidence is legitimate? Mr. Grant's face hardened. You can verify it. Check the logs, interview those involved, but you can't ignore the truth for the sake of appearances. Lily felt a swell of emotion rise within her. For so long, she had fought to get her father back, trying to rally the community to stand alongside them. But now it felt real. so close she could almost reach out and touch it. In the crowd, Mrs. Thompson's face was tear-streaked, her hands clasped tightly. Mia's mother quietly whispered something to her daughter, and Mia squeezed Lily's hand again, echoes of mutual resolve shining in their eyes. The judge's expression remained inscrutable, but he motioned for the prosecutor to present any counter-evidence. As she fumbled through her notes, Lily's heart pounded in her chest. Each moment stretched into an eternity. Would the truth hold, or would doubt overshadow it all one last time? As the judge prepared to make a decision, the gravity of the moment weighed heavily on everyone in the courtroom. Then something shifted. The door at the back creaked open again. A figure stepped in, and Lily felt her pulse quicken. Who could it be now? What more could they possibly add to this already tangled mess? Please just let me speak, the newcomer said, voice trembling yet urgent. Lily squinted. It was her mother, tears spilling down her cheeks. I have something to say. In that heart-stopping moment, Lily realized their fight might be even more entangled than she thought. But could her mother's words break through the chaos and lead them back toward hope? Lily's breath caught in her throat as her mother stood there, visibly shaken. Everyone had turned to face her, curiosity and confusion replacing the courtroom's earlier anticipation. What could she possibly say that would help? Mom. Lily called softly, urging her forward with her eyes. Her mother's shoulders trembled, but she stepped up to the stand, her hands gripping the edge with a fierce determination. I know this might be unexpected, she started, her voice wavering. But I need you to understand something important. She paused, glancing at Lily, whose heart fell at the sadness etched across her mother's face. I was afraid to speak for so long, afraid of the truth, afraid of what it might mean for our family. What truth? The judge asked, his brow furrowed, sensing the gravity of her words. Lily felt a lump rising in her throat. She knew there were layers of hurt, but could her mother's testimony even touch the surface today? Would it matter to the case? I know who orchestrated the manipulation of the evidence, her mother finally said, her voice gaining momentum. I never said anything because I thought I was protecting everyone. But now I realize it was all wrong. My silence only caused more pain. The audience murmured, voices rising like a crescendo. Lily felt her heart race. Could this be the breakthrough they needed? Jennifer Reynolds. You can't just, the prosecutor sputtered, but her mother held her ground. I still love him, she said, emotions bubbling over. I loved him enough to stay quiet, but I also love our family enough to fight for his freedom. Lily deserves that. Your Honor, I have proof too. I've kept documents, letters, things that show my husband was framed. Lily felt a spark of hope igniting within her chest. What do you mean, Mom? You have proof? Her mother nodded, wiping tears from her cheeks. I have been collecting it all this time. I thought I could hold everything together. I thought I was being a good wife, but I was wrong. This is not just about us anymore. It's about the truth. Can you present it? The judge pressed, gathering the attention of everyone in the room. With trembling hands, her mother pulled out a small envelope from her purse and handed it to the judge. Everything is there. Records, photos, everything. Everyone leaned in, hanging on the edge of their seats. Lily could barely breathe, her heart racing as each second stretched like an eternity. That's ridiculous, the prosecutor exclaimed. She can't possibly be credible after, but the judge cut her off. Enough. I will review the new evidence. But you have to understand, Mrs. Reynolds, lives hang in the balance here. We need to know if your claims hold any validity. Lily locked eyes with her mother, searching for a sign of reassurance, but all she found was sincerity and regret. I'm so sorry, Lily, her mom whispered, her voice breaking. I should have done this sooner. No. You're doing it now. Lily whispered back fiercely. That's what matters. The judge nodded slowly, still observing the envelope as he studied the documents. This court will reconvene in 10 minutes while I review the new evidence. And the courtroom will remain quiet. As he left the stand, Lily's mind buzzed with thoughts. Could this really be the turning point? Was her mother's courage enough to change everything they defaced? Could forgiveness, healing, and hope weave their way out of this mess? Tension hung heavy in the air, every face in the courtroom etched with uncertainty. The echoes of whispered conversations filled the space, and Lily felt herself drawn back to that glimmer of hope once more. But in the midst of so much tension, she couldn't help but wonder. If they found the truth, would it be enough to heal the wounds that ran deep? And would they ever truly be able to forgive one another for the silence? The courtroom was buzzing with tension as everyone waited for the judge to return. Lily could hear the whispers. The uncertainty felt like a living thing in the air. Her mother stood beside her, wiping her tears away, but there was a flicker of determination in her eyes now. "Are you okay?" Lily asked, barely above a whisper. "I will be," her mother replied, her voice steadier now. "I just hope this really helps, that it's not too late." Lily squeezed her mother's hand. "It's never too late as long as we have the truth." But even as she said the words, doubt crept in. Was truth enough? The judge finally returned, and the room fell silent. He took his seat, adjusting his glasses as he opened the envelope in front of him. Lily felt her heart race. The moment of truth truly felt like a knife's edge. "Mrs. Reynolds," he began, glancing at the documents, "can you explain what we are looking at here?" Her mother took a deep breath. "These are letters and records I kept. They show not just my husband's innocence, but the web of deceit that led to his arrest. I didn't have the strength to come forward, but I can't stay silent any longer." As she spoke, the atmosphere shifted. The whispers faded, replaced by intense listening. Lily could see hope building in the eyes of the few supporters they had in the public gallery. Her heart soared just a bit higher. "Your Honor," the prosecutor interjected, "this evidence is circumstantial at best." "Circumstantial, perhaps," the judge interrupted. "But it's also new and needs to be examined thoroughly." He gestured to the court's staff. "We will have these documents analyzed immediately." Lily felt a mix of fear and excitement. This wasn't just about proving her father innocent anymore. It felt larger, as if it might truly heal the rift that had torn their family for so long. "Can we trust it?" She heard someone whisper from the back, a friend perhaps. But she couldn't answer that question. What if this was just another false hope? What if her mother's courage fell flat against years of darkness? As the judge motioned for a break, whispers filled the room once more. Some were supportive, some critical of her mother. "Why now? Doesn't matter?" Her word isn't useful. Lily looked at her mother, who was staring ahead, lost in her thoughts. "Mom," she said, squeezing her hand tighter. "You did the right thing." "I hope so, sweetheart." Her mother's voice washed over Lily like a wave, pulling her into the realization of what was at stake. "I really hope so. But even if it all goes south, I couldn't carry the burden of the truth any longer. You deserve a chance at life unfettered by lies." The word life echoed in Lily's mind. Could they reclaim their lives, their joy? If this was truly the start of a new chapter, could it lead them to forgiveness, to a vision of what was once lost? As they stepped outside the courtroom for a brief break, the air felt fresh, alive. Maybe, just maybe, they had a chance to rewrite their story. But a shadow passed through her thoughts. What if the truth uncovered deeper wounds than they could handle? What if their family was never truly the same again? The lingering questions pressed hard against her chest as she walked beside her mother. And she knew this was far from over. They were just beginning to scrape the surface of their family's truth. Would they grow stronger together? Or would the revelations fracture them even more? Lily felt a shudder ripple through her. They had just begun to fight for their future. But could they withstand the storm that was surely coming? Lily stepped out of the courtroom with her mother, the bustling sounds of the crowd fading slightly as they sought refuge in the cool, fresh air. They walked a few paces, and then her mother paused, leaning against the cold stone wall for support. The weight of their world was heavy on her shoulders, and Lily noticed her mother's hands trembling slightly. "Mom," Lily started, searching for something to hold on to. "Do you think they'll believe you?" Her mother glanced at her, the flicker of doubt battling with her burgeoning resolve. "I don't know, sweetheart. But I have to try. For your father, for us." A knot tightened in Lily's stomach. She wanted to believe, wanted to feel the warmth of hope wrapping around them like a soft blanket. But the harsh reality of their situation reminded her that hope was a precarious thing. What if this was just another illusion? Another gust of wind that would leave them as cold as ever. The sound of footsteps approached, breaking the weight of silence. It was her father's attorney. She recognized the neatly pressed suit immediately. Mrs. Reynolds, Lily, he called, urgency threading his voice. I need to speak with you both. Something important came up. Lily's heart raced again. She glanced at her mother, whose face was suddenly tensed with alertness. What is it? Her mother asked. The attorney stepped closer, his expression serious. The judge approved an immediate investigation into the documents we presented. However, I have reason to believe that the prosecutor is planning to push back hard. They know this evidence could change everything, and they want to go down without a fight. Lily's mind whirled with the implications. What does that mean for Dad? She felt a surge of fear, her voice trembling with it. It means we need to prepare ourselves, he replied grimly. For every action there is a reaction. The prosecutor may try to vilify your mother for waiting until now to come forward. They might even question her credibility. Her mother drew in a shaky breath. They'll say it's too late. They'll try to twist my words. Shadows crossed her features, but determination fired back in her gaze. But they can't take away the truth. And I want to let them silence me again. Exactly, the attorney affirmed, his voice resolute. Your mother's courage is the anchor we need in these turbulent waters. But we must gather more evidence and present a united front. If the truth comes to light, we can work toward clearing your father's name. They walked back toward the courthouse, Lily's heart pounding with uncertain hope. Each step felt like they were marching into battle. She imagined her father's face, the way his laughter used to lighten the house. It felt like a lifetime ago. But the image burned bright inside her. As they reached the entrance, Lily noticed a group of reporters clustered near the courthouse steps. They were on the hunt for stories, for angles. And they had caught a whiff of the unfolding drama. She wanted to turn away, but curiosity pulled at her. What would they say? How would they spin her mother's revelation? Lily, her mother said, pulling her back gently. We need to focus now. We can't let what they say distract us. But the words mounted in Lily's mind, the best and worst predictions swirling together. What if this didn't just expose the truth, but also stirred up secrets that threatened to tear them apart further? Would the fight rip them down instead of lifting them up? Taking a deep breath, she steadied herself. We'll get through this. Together, she promised, holding her mother's hand tightly. Whether to the courtroom or to the unseen battles that lay ahead, their bond felt like the strongest weapon they had. But then, a single thought sent a tremor through her. What if revealing these truths meant breaking their family apart rather than healing it? As doors swung open and they stepped back inside, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that what lay ahead might completely reshape everything they believed about each other. Would their fight for truth fortify them or tear them apart? As they walked through the courthouse doors, Lily could feel the weight of uncertainty pressing down on her. The hallway was flickering with fluorescent lights, casting an almost surreal glow on everyone's faces. People hurried past, their voices rising and falling in a chaotic symphony of hope and despair. But all Lily could focus on was the pulse of her heart, echoing the doubt that swirled around her. Her mother kept her head high, yet Lily could sense the tension in her mother's jaw, the rigid posture that seemed to scream for strength. How was she supposed to be strong? Every step felt laden with unspoken fears while the echo of the attorney's words lingered ominously in her mind. Mom, what if the evidence isn't enough? What if they turn it all against you? Lily blurted out, her chest tight with apprehension. Her mother stopped mid-stride, her face softening. Lily, I can't let fear dictate our lives anymore, she said, her voice steady, yet layered with emotion. I waited too long. I can't back down now. Lily wanted to reach out, to wrap her arms around her mother, and melt away the tension. She felt small next to her mother's resolve. Even as questions tumbled around her like leaves in the fall. What if her mother was wrong? What if this all blew up in their faces? Just then the attorney appeared again, his brow furrowed and his expression urgent. We need to talk, he said sharply. The prosecutor is preparing for a press conference. They want to paint your mother as vindictive and late to the game. We must be ready for anything. Lily felt her stomach drop. The thought of her mother standing alone against a room full of people, their eyes on her like hawks, made her heart race. What should we do? She asked, trying to keep the panic from her voice. Hold the line. Focus on your father and the truth, he replied, his eyes darting around, clearly on edge. But we also need to counter their narrative. We can't let them control the story. Lily nodded, feeling frightened but also a flicker of certainty rising within her. We need to fight back, she whispered fiercely, as they prepared for the press conference. Something deep inside Lily stirred a longing to protect her family, a burning need to confront the lies that had tainted their lives. Realizing that she had a voice too, she spoke up. Can I say something? Can I support her? The attorney's brows lifted in surprise, yet a small smile broke through his serious demeanor. If you want to, your words could mean more than you think. Her mother looked at her, eyes wide and shimmering. Are you sure, Lily? It could be rough. Lily met her mother's gaze with strength. I'm sure. We need to fight this together. For Dad. The press conference room was stark and blindingly bright. Journalists were scattered, cameras poised, and microphones waiting like hungry beasts. The tension was palpable, and as Lily stepped up beside her mother on the podium, the weight of every gaze felt like a mountain on her shoulders. But when she saw the determination in her mother's eyes, something fierce ignited in her chest. Today, we are not just here to defend a story, Lily began, her voice shaking at first, but soon growing stronger. We are here to reclaim our truth. My father is innocent, and my mother has the courage to stand for what is right, no matter how hard it gets. She felt her heart race, the words flowing out as if guided by a force beyond herself. We'll face whatever they want to throw at us. We're family, we stand together. A ripple of surprise moved through the room. For a moment, it felt as though the world fell silent. Just Lily's voice cut through the stillness, her fierce spirit challenging everything that lay before them. But before she could finish, a voice from the back interrupted. What if your words are just a shield for your mother's lies? How can we trust anything she says now? A chill shot down Lily's spine. The words stung, echoing the doubts she had harbored. How could they fight against this? How could they heal from this darkness threatening to swallow them whole? With her heart racing, she turned to her mother, seeking strength in her unwavering gaze. Would they truly be able to face this together? Or would the truth they sought to reveal shatter their already fragile world? As the flash of cameras erupted around them, and the murmurs of skepticism filled the air, she couldn't help but wonder, was their fight for truth just beginning? Or was it leading them to a deeper abyss? Lily's heart pounded in her chest as the journalist's words hung heavy in the air. She could feel every eye in the room fixated on her, waiting for the fallout. The weight of those doubts crept into her mind, threatening to curl around her thoughts like ivy choking a tree. She opened her mouth to respond, words tumbling up into her throat, but they caught there, stuck. Her mother suddenly interjected, her voice steady yet fierce. You can choose to believe whatever you want, but we're here to fight for the truth. Lily's right, our family stands together. Taking a deep breath, Lily felt the rush of adrenaline surge within her. Her mother's words were like a lifeline, pulling her back from the brink. She met the eyes of the audience one by one, searching for someone, anyone, who would understand their struggle. We're not here to shield anyone, she said, her voice rising to meet the challenge head-on. We're here to shed light on a darkness that has clouded our lives for so long. My father deserved better than this. A murmuring rippled through the crowd, uncertainty mixing with curiosity. Lily held on to that spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, someone would listen. Before she had time to think, a young reporter, perhaps fresh on the job, raised her hand. What specific evidence do you have to back your claims, Lily? Her voice was steady, but there was a flicker of vulnerability. Lily's cheeks flushed. She hadn't prepared for something like this. Panic threatened to set in. But she recalled how Mother had leaned into her strength, and she found herself standing a little taller. We have witnesses who can confirm my father's alibi, she began, the words gaining momentum. There are phone records and security footage to prove he wasn't where they say he was. We will present it all in court. Just then, another voice cut through, an older gentleman with a newspaper tucked under his arm. But what is to stop this from all being a fabrication? You're just a girl. How can you be so sure? Because I believe in my family. Lily burst out, her heart racing. My dad has always been there for us. He deserves a chance to share his truth. Cheers erupted from a small number of supporters in the back, but they were quickly drowned out by skepticism and doubt from others. The tension in the room shifted again. Lily felt overwhelmed, and yet, the tiny flame of determination still flickered inside. When she glanced at her mother, she caught a glimmer of pride, as if the mere act of standing up in front of the crowd was a victory in itself. The attorney quickly stepped in before the rising waves of scrutiny could overwhelm them, addressing the audience with a professional demeanor. What you're seeing today is a family united against a torrent of lies. We have evidence, and we will bring it forth. But it's this family's courage that will enlighten the truth. With that, the back and forth resumed as reporters clamored to gain the floor. But amidst the chaos, Lily felt the weight of the world slowly shift. They were fighting back. Despite the doubts, despite the fear, they were moving forward together. The press conference wove into a labyrinth of questions, some supportive, others antagonistic. But now Lily felt braver. Each inquiry became a step forward. The truth was unearthed in their resilience, an anchor in a storm. But just as a sense of unity began to bloom, someone shouted from the back, "How much is this all going to cost? Are you really prepared for the backlash?" A knot tightened in Lily's stomach. The challenges were mounting, and their journey ahead felt perilous. As she glanced back at her mother, who was holding her gaze steadily, she knew they were not the only ones getting dragged into this fight. "Are we ready?" she mouthed to her mother, a question lingering over the air like a breath held too long. The answer wasn't just in the tone of her mother's silence, but in the strength that radiated from both of them. Their lives had become a public battleground, and the confrontation was just beginning. But one thought clambered through her mind as the murmurs spiraled around her: would they come out stronger? Or was this just the beginning of a much deeper struggle than they had ever imagined? Lily's heart raced as she watched the faces around her. A mix of skepticism and fear loomed behind their expressions. She could feel the weight of uncertainty pressing down, almost suffocating her. But she held on to the glimmer of hope ignited by her mother's solidarity. As the reporters began to erupt into a cacophony of voices again, one thought remained clear. They had to be heard. "Please, everyone," her mother called out, cutting through the noise with a firmness that commanded attention. "Let Lily speak. This isn't just about our family, it's about uncovering the truth." The room quieted, a moment of stillness settling like dust in the air. Lily took a breath, feeling the buzz of adrenaline surge through her body. "Thank you," she said, her voice steadier than she felt. "I know this is hard to believe. I get it. But I also believe that if we stand together, if we fight for what's right, we can change lives." A few heads nodded, and she saw understanding flicker in some eyes, encouraging her to push on. "The truth has a way of coming out. My dad is innocent, and if we keep pushing, others will see that. You'll see." Another reporter jumped in. "But don't you worry about the potential backlash? This could ruin your family." She hesitated for just a beat, the question weighing heavy. "No," she responded firmly. "What would ruin us is not standing up for what we believe in. We have to fight. My father deserves that. We all do." At that moment, a ripple of applause broke out from a few members in the audience. A small but powerful act that made Lily's heart swell. Perhaps there were people ready to believe again, eager to support a cause that promised hope instead of despair. But the moment was fleeting. Isn't this just a ploy for media attention? A desperate cry for help? A voice taunted from the back. "Why would we do this if not for justice?" Lily shot back, her passion flaring as she locked eyes with the reporter. "We're not fighting for fame. We're fighting for family, for what's right. This isn't a game." Her mother squeezed her hand, giving her the strength to press on. "We're asking for your support, not your judgment. We believe in a future where families don't get torn apart by lies. We stand united in that fight." Just then, the journalist who had first asked a question shifted uncomfortably in her seat. "What if you fail? What happens then?" Lily's breath caught, the knot in her stomach tightening again. What if they did fail? Failure threatened to unravel everything, dragging them back into the darkness they had fought to escape. But it was at that moment that Lily remembered why she was here. "We won't fail," she said, with conviction she didn't fully feel but needed to express. "If we do, we won't do so in silence. We will keep fighting, keep speaking the truth. It's how we heal, how we help others." More spontaneous applause erupted, and a wave of courage swelled inside her. She glanced around at the audience and saw more nodding heads. A flicker of solidarity danced in the room. They could do this. The press conference continued, questions becoming more thoughtful and at times more empathetic. It felt like a current was shifting. Maybe they weren't just regarded as a troubled family anymore. But then suddenly, the door swung open with a crash. The commotion caught everyone off guard as a man, face flushed and eyes fierce, stepped into the room. "You're spreading lies. The truth will come out and you'll regret this," he shouted, pointing directly at Lily and her mother. A wave of confusion swept the room, the atmosphere electric with tension. Lily's heart pounded anew, panic mingling with righteous indignation. They had ventured into dangerous territory. "Who do you think you are?" Lily demanded, her voice shaking not just with fear but with defiance. She stood leveled with this stranger, knowing this was just the beginning of a battle that would test every limit of their strength. As the man was pulled back by security, she knew they were done playing nice. This fight was about to escalate, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the real confrontation was still to come. Would they be ready for the fight ahead? The stakes had never felt so high. The courtroom buzz was heavy with anticipation as the crowd settled into a restless silence. Lily could feel it in her bones. She was on the precipice of everything they had fought for. The air smelled like hope mingled with anxiety, her heart thudding as she took her position beside her mother. Their bond had become a fierce, tangible thing, almost palpable as they pressed together for support. Her mother stood there, determination etched across her face, ready to face whatever came next. The judge returned, eyeing them with an intensity that made Lily's stomach flutter. "Mrs. Reynolds," he began, turning to Lily's mother, "I have reviewed the evidence you provided. While it's substantial, the court will require additional scrutiny to ensure its validity." Lily's breath hitched. Would this tipping point be enough? She glanced back at her mother, who returned her gaze with belief mirrored in her eyes. The moment felt electric. "We understand, Your Honor," Lily's mother said, her voice firm but vulnerable. "We're prepared to do whatever it takes to seek justice." "Then let us proceed," the judge said, adjusting his glasses. "We will allow discovery and investigation of these records, but I caution you the path ahead might be fraught with challenges." A wave of murmurs rippled through the audience. Lily could pick out familiar voices, filled with a mix of concern and support. She felt bolstered by their presence. They were all in this together. As the trial picked back up, the tension transformed into an almost palpable energy, a fervor rising among the townsfolk. Even the prosecutor seemed caught off guard, momentarily flustered by the unexpected turn. "Your Honor," she stammered, slightly sweating, "I request more time to verify these documents. This narrative is spiraling." "And yet," the judge countered, "you cannot deny that what this family is fighting for is the heart of justice itself." The courtroom held its breath. Tears pooled in Lily's eyes. This was the moment, they could feel it. A rush of relief swept through her. This was a leap toward hope, but doubt still niggled at her heart. What if the truth reveals something worse? She whispered to her mother. "Are we prepared for that?" Her mother squeezed her hand tightly, fortifying Lily as they faced the uncertain yet pivotal road ahead. "We're not backing down now. Whatever comes, we do it together." Time dragged as the jury convened to hear more testimonials, the clock as ticking growing louder like the countdown to a storm. And then came the day of reckoning. Caught in a whirlwind of emotion, Lily stood once more in front of a room filled with the townspeople of Maplewood. Their faces were a mix of intrigue and apprehension. Armed with evidence that could reshape their lives, Lily felt her heart race. This was where it could all change. "Thank you for being here," she started, her voice rising above the low murmur. "This fight is more than just about my father's innocence. It's about reclaiming our family, our beliefs, and our community." She felt the warmth of her mother's hand gripping hers. It anchored her. With tremors of excitement and panic, she recalled her words to the crowd. "The truth is, we feared silence more than the consequences of standing up. We let love bind us together. We chose to fight, not just for my dad, but for everyone who has ever felt wronged. This is your fight too." Tears flowed freely, faces turned earnest and attentive. Among the crowd, Mrs. Thompson's eyes sparkled with understanding, and Lily felt a stirring of unity. The judge returned, his expression firm yet subdued, and as he prepared to announce the verdict, the air thickened with anticipation. Lily held her breath. "May justice prevail," she whispered, grounding herself in the belief that love would triumph over fear and treachery. After careful consideration, the judge began, "This court finds that the evidence presented today demonstrates that there is validity in your claim." Lily could hardly breathe. The words danced in her mind. Hope surged. The tide was turning. "Your Honor," the judge continued, "this court will proceed to exonerate Mr. Reynolds, while we further investigate those who conspired against him." Cheers erupted, a crescendo of joy and disbelief washing over them like a wave. Families hugged. Tears turned to laughter, and the bonds of Maplewood tightened as they celebrated this monumental step toward justice. Yet in this exhilarating moment, Lily's heart felt complex. A tangle of emotions twirled within her. They had brought forth hope, belief, and a unity that shone brighter than any despair. But deep down, she feared the journey ahead. As she embraced her mother tightly, joy flickering in both their eyes, one thought lingered. What more must we face to truly heal? Deep inside, she realized the road may be long, yet they wouldn't walk it alone. The promise of love and unity forged a strength that would weave them together through anything. The trial wasn't the end, but a powerful beginning, a chapter of transformation, resilience, and hope. Lily smiled brightly, knowing they would embrace every twist and turn together, as a family. Now was the moment to surge forward and claim their lives back. For Lily, this marked the dawn of a renewal, a blaze of light where once shadows danced. Live, love, truth, together they would prevail. And as the crowd erupted in cheers, Lily knew their story wasn't over. It was just the start of a bigger journey, one anchored in love and unwavering spirit. So if you believe in this journey, you need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformational journey. The time is now. Let's keep standing together.